Well, good morning and welcome in to Mornings in Meridian. It's about 9 minutes into the 7 o'clock hour here on this Tuesday, November the 7th. Yes, we have made it to Election Day, and hope everybody's having a great start to your Election Day morning. Polls have been open for nearly 10 minutes now. Head out there and vote, and don't go to the schools and vote. Go to your correct precinct.
Huh? That was the correct precinct last time.
Yeah.
I can't even remember. 2 times ago?
The joke never stops.
No.
Well, good morning, folks. Rob here behind the buttons this morning and joined by Charles Frazier, so that means an absence by Roger B.
Right.
Here on Election Day.
An absentee ballot.
There you go.
Not voting for Roger.
Well, Charles, happy Election Day. We made it.
Thank you. Do we give gifts on this? Or I didn't get your card or anything. I'm sorry.
We'll just,
get a sticker maybe.
Yeah, you get a pen. You'll get a sticker at the precinct today.
I usually tell them that. Keep the sticker. It's
Keep
fine.
the sticker.
What am I going to do with a sticker?
Well, it has been a long, long journey, but we are here.
Yes,
finally.
We hope there's no runoff.
Yeah, some people are saying that potentially on the statewide.
They're right on the gubernatorial. That's really the only one that will go into runoff. I think the only one that can. But yeah.
Well, this has been a very interesting process for the local elections, of course, and we'll go over the sample ballot. And folks, we want to hear how the polling precincts are looking out there this morning.
Sure.
And turnout's always the big question. How is it going to be at the precincts today with turnout? I'm hoping. I mean, you always hope.
Yeah.
That the turnout will be good, especially on Election Day. But this governor's race may steer a little bit of that, so we'll see how that kind of plays out. But from a local level, a lot of interesting races we'll talk more about. And also, you candidates out there that listen to Mornings in Meridian, if you want to call up and give like your final little pitch, 601-485-9191 as everybody heads to the polls this morning to get ready for the finish line, so to speak.
We hope, right?
We hope the finish line,
yes.
right? So, but Charles, what's your feelings going into Election Day today?
Well, just hoping turnout will be good. The weather's great, and
yes.
So it couldn't have asked for a better day for it. And I don't know. There is a little bit of national coverage as far as the gubernatorial race here, and the tightness of it, and so that may get a little more interest. I just hope that we have a strong showing, like always, because I think people need to participate. But I think that a lot of these races are predictable. I do think Tate will prevail. Straight up, I don't think it'll go to runoff or anything like that. I just think that people are inclined to vote for the R more than anything else. And I know that Tate has had some issues, and there are some who just don't like him as a person, which is really not a reason to vote for or against somebody.
Right.
But I think our local races are fairly predictable.
Yeah, there's a couple of them that I want to highlight today. I think will be a little tight.
Yeah, there are some.
There's a couple of them I want to highlight, and we'll get into that coming up as all the local politicians just went like, oh, God, Rob just said there's a couple of races that are going to be tight.
Don't call mine.
So don't call mine. Let's go to the phone line at 485-9191. Hey, caller, good morning.
Morning, guys. How are y'all today?
Oh,
morning.
I know this voice.
Oh, yeah, it's your humble District 1 Supervisor candidate, J.J. Anders, calling and wanting everybody to get out to vote. Please go vote today. My son, Hagen, and I are on the way to the polls right now before school, and Emily and Hunter, my little one, are behind us, and we just want to encourage everybody on this beautiful day. I mean, we couldn't have begged for a better day to go vote, so please get out there and vote.
JJ, we've got to the finish line here today. This has been an unbelievable process for you because this is your, third time being on the ballot because you had to go to a runoff back during the primary. Yeah. But this has been I would say it's been an interesting ride, but I would say a fun ride too, right?
Well, it has, and it's been an education like no other. And, in every meeting I go to and every question I've asked, it just leads to 4 or 5 more questions, and it just solidifies that I made the right choice in putting my name out there, and I just hope that the constituents of District 1 decide to give me the job today, because I really want to get in there and be your advocate and really help get Lauderdale County where we all know it can be.
JJ, real quick, the precincts in District 1.
Okay, precincts, and all right, I'm heading to the landing on 39 right now is where I vote.
Okay.
Then you've got North Park Church right there at Old Country Club in 39.
Mm-hmm.
Then you've got the Little Theater on 39 down from Community Bank and between Community Bank and 601 Sports. Then you've got Trinity Presbyterian Church on Popper Springs Drive. and then up 493 is the Bailey Presbyterian Church. And so those are the 5 precincts in District 1.
Fantastic. So just everybody refer to your voter registration card, obviously. And, JJ, we made the joke we're not voting at the schools this morning. So
No, we are not, and I am not running for coroner.
And you're not running for coroner. Well, you still had time, and you still had a few hours left, you know.
I'm going to write you in for coroner.
The write-in candidate. There we go.
I mean, every time I talk to you guys, I'm going to make sure you guys know I'm not running for coroner.
Okay, good,
so,
good.
You know.
Well,
no, listen, I really appreciate the job you guys do. We all want to be educated on who we're voting for, and I really applaud you guys in WALT for really inviting us on, talking about it, and letting us all really tell our qualifications and why we think we would do a good job. And I just thank you guys, a lot for all the good work you guys do.
JJ, appreciate that, and sounds like a family affair going to the polls this morning. So.
Absolutely. Hey, look, I would be nothing without my family. They're the best gift God's ever given me.
Fantastic.
Amen.
But look, guys, thank y'all. Y'all have a great day. And I do have to say, I do have to thank one special person, win, lose, or draw, Emily. I mean, what a better wife, life partner. Like I've told you guys before, I outkick my covers, but she has been right there with me from the start. And I'm not sure who's happier today got here, me or her, but it's here, and please go vote.
Fantastic.
Awesome.
So,
JJ, appreciate you, my friend.
Guys.
All right, Justin.
Yes, sir.
Justin JJ Anders, of course, District 1 candidate for supervisor, running on the Republican side of things. Of course, his opponent today, Tyrone Johnson, the Democrat. And, one of my favorite things through this process, and Charles, I say this every election cycle, is getting to know these folks.
Yeah.
And we've got some solid folks running for these offices. And I applaud everybody, Republican, Democrat, Independent, who said, you know what, back when qualifying day happened back in January, I'm going to run.
Yeah.
No matter if you win, if you lost back in the primary, whatever it is, I applaud you for doing
Boy,
that.
the commitment. Wow.
I mean, that is a big commitment. It's financially too, the time away from family, campaigning, knocking on doors, going to events. I mean, it is a big undertaking to serve your community in whatever office you are seeking. So I applaud every last man and woman.
And a lot of talented people coming, putting their hat in the ring. And it's really inspiring. I think we look at our national politics and just kind of roll our eyes and say, this is ridiculous. This is the best we have. But I think really on the local level, there's been a groundswell of this, of people who have a lot of talent, a lot of education, really a lot of potential to affect change, who have entered the fray. And so, maybe that will then, continue on the state level and possibly the national level. I think that there's been a difficult time getting really good qualified candidates. And you look at the federal cycle and you think, this is the best
we can do, right?
Really? In this country, this is the best we can do?
Absolutely.
And locally, I think we really do have some great people. And this is the best. And it's inspiring to see.
So folks out in District 1, get out and vote today. Justin J.J. Anders, Republican there on the District 1 side, and then Tyrone Johnson, the Democrat. So 2 good choices there
definitely.
For supervisor. Let's go back to the phone line at 485-9191. Phone lines are ringing up here on Election Day. Hey, caller, good morning.
Good morning, gentlemen. How are y'all doing today?
Hey,
morning.
Zane.
I'm going to predict a moderately heavy turnout.
I'm glad you...
It was probably 80% of what the presidential election.
So you already voted this morning.
It was lined up. I have already voted. They were lined up all the way out to the parking lot. I thought we was going to have to call the sheriff to get some traffic direction going on in there.
Or Chick-fil-A, either one.
Yeah, call Chick-fil-A. They can fix that too. So
might get a sandwich too.
Buddy's upset, but I promised him a steak dinner from Weidman's.
Excellent.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't going to let him vote. He's got a voter card, but dogs are always Democrats, so.
Oh, well, there you go.
Suppress his vote.
Well, Zane, how you think
he'll enjoy that.
Well, Zane, how you think all this is going to shake out on a state level today?
Well, I hope pretty good. We've got some good guys, Secretary of State, Lieutenant Governor, Governor. They've all done a good job, and I don't see why we couldn't put them back. I know there's a little – Tate didn't get off to the best start in the world, but I think he's done pretty good in the long run if you look back over the big picture. and I just I'm scared of Presley.
Mm-hmm.
Just I don't know what he could do any better.
Well, I think the fear is who is he beholden to? Where has he received his money from? And what's going to be the agenda of him? I mean, I think he's a very likable guy, but a lot of politicians are. But yeah, that's the question: is what's the Democratic agenda if he is elected?
Yeah, that's the thing. It's too much money come from out of state. So I guess that's good for the media. For they've sold a lot of ads.
Yeah, they love it.
Made a lot of money from out of state.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we appreciate it. Yeah.
Yep. Thank you.
Well, and plus, too, I mean, I don't know how much this is going to bear weight in this whole thing today, but if you've noticed the last several days, the Reeves campaign has really been pushing the Donald Trump endorsement a lot on television and radio with the Trump ads have been airing a lot the last several days. So that has been pretty heavy in the campaign cycle here. So.
Yeah, so I don't know. I'm ready to get through this. Find out who our new coroner's going to be.
That's right.
And let it all die down for a year.
Almost,
You're not planning on dying anytime soon, are you?
That's right.
No.
Okay, good.
No, I'm not going to be the first one. I wake up every morning and say, "Not today, coroner."
Not today.
You're not going to be the first customer.
You know, when I woke up this morning, Zane, I almost thought about doing this entire show about the coroner, since that has been the year-long deal here on WALT. But this is the end of the coroner race today. So
kind of sad, really.
Yeah, that's it. No more coroner jokes.
No, we're going to keep him going. Yeah.
He's going to keep him
beat the dead horse. Oh, is that a coroner
joke?
Yeah,
whoever wins, we'll just have to get him as a monthly visitor, like we do with the sheriff. So.
Right.
That's it. Hey, well, I know both of the candidates, so we'll get one of them on.
Definitely.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, they've both been on,
absolutely. So. Well, all right, Zane.
Yep.
Well, appreciate you checking in. Sounds like a great turnout up in Sycalina this morning. So.
That's it.
Good
you
deal.
guys have a wonderful day. Take care.
All right, appreciate you. So, wow, sounds like a big turnout already in Sycalina this
That's
morning.
what we love to hear, yeah.
Big lineup
Participate.
there. So, absolutely.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm probably going to vote when I get done here at work today. Probably go early afternoon and cast my ballot out at the Meehan Volunteer Fire Department.
I go to the landing where JJ votes, and I'll go about 5:30 or so.
Yep. So, but get out and vote today, folks. Polls will be open until 7 o'clock tonight. Well, here on Election Day, we vote for business supplies with Southern Business Supply. Of course, Billy Adam Calvert, of course, he's unopposed on the ballot today.
He might win.
He might win.
I think he should.
Just needs a vote. But I tell you what, runs a good operation down in Meridian, and go by and see all the office furniture, other supplies they have at Southern Business.
Of course, you can go by, or what's easier for me is southernbusinesssupply.com. All you do is go to that website, and if you've already ordered from him, it just populates with all your information. You can reorder, all that kind of stuff, just like the big box stores, or should I say it, Amazon. No, it's easier, and you're shopping local. And, of course, he delivers the next day. southernbusinesssupply.com. Of course, if you want to go see him, they've got a great showroom, lots of office and home furniture, or home office furniture. And, of course, they have everything that you need for your office supplies. Office supplies, janitorial supplies, those big 5-gallon spring water coolers, break room supplies, you name it, they've got it for your office. And they're at 5685 Dale Drive, open Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. You can call them at 601-485-2447. But as I said, go to southernbusinesssupply.com. That is the easiest way. Buy local, your money stays here, and just say no to those big box stores.
Absolutely. Our number, 601-485-9191. Once again, you candidates out here in Lauderdale County, if you want to give us a shout and give your final pitch to the voters out there, we'd love to hear from you at 601-485-9191. On a statewide level, of course, voters will see elections for all statewide offices today, all 174 legislative seats, 22 district attorney seats, and various county offices such as sheriff and supervisor. There's 20 sheriff's offices up for grabs here today as well. And absentee voting numbers are higher this year than they were 4 years ago, a signal that obviously this governor's race is going to be very interesting. As of Monday, there had been 56,403 absentee ballots completed and returned to local circuit clerks' offices, compared to a little over 48,000 absentee votes counted in the 2019 statewide election. Now, more than 62,000 absentee ballots have been requested for this election. Now, mailed absentee ballots will be counted as long as they are postmarked by Election Day and are returned through the mail to the local circuit clerk's office by November the 15th. So pretty good trend right there with the absentee votes.
And, of course, you wonder if that is a result of COVID and people having the availability or even knowing the process of absentee voting because of COVID and all of the, restrictions on social gathering and being in a place like that. So, or it may be just an increased demand. So difficult to determine exactly what the cause of that is. But either way, it's great to see that those numbers are going up and not down.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, but with the in-person turnout, it's always a big deal, obviously, in your local elections. And I think this governor's race is going to steer a lot of people toward the polls because it's been under a microscope pretty heavily over the past several days. Of course, they had the debate last week as well. They got a lot of folks a little more interested in the process here. But I think the rest of the statewide races are going to be kind of I wouldn't say just slam dunk, but they pretty much will be. But obviously pretty predictable with Delbert Hoseman and D. Ryan Grover on the lieutenant governor's side. Secretary of State, of course, Ty Pinkins was here with us yesterday.
Impressive guy, yeah.
Very impressive guy. Of course, he is running against the incumbent Michael Watson. Attorney General Lynn Fitch, Republican, against the Democratic challenger Greta Kemp Martin. State Auditor Shad White, Republican, incumbent, against Larry Bradford, the Democrat. State Treasurer David McCray, the Republican, against Addie L. Green, the Democrat. Then Commissioner of Agriculture Andy Gibson, the Republican, against the Democrat Robert Bradford Sr., Commissioner of Insurance Mike Cheney, Republican incumbent, against Bruce Burton, Democrat. Public Service Commissioner, you got Brent Bailey, who we've had on this show before. He's seeking re-election against the Democrat. DeKeitha Ray Stamps, Transportation Commissioner. Now, this race has somewhat been highlighted here on the program because of a mailer that went out that had a lot of local connections. The incumbent, Willie Simmons, the Democrat, against Ricky Pennington Jr., the Republican. Of course, Simmons was really highlighted on this program this past week because of, obviously, the Board of Supervisors and other local folks really getting behind him because of his hard work with road projects here.
Specifically in Lauderdale County. And he has done a lot for the area.
So that is the statewide races. Now, the 174 legislative seats that are up for grabs, most of those here locally are unopposed for the most part. State Senate seats are mostly unopposed. Now, we do have that one House seat today, District 45 with Michael Cassidy. We had him on the program yesterday, the Republican. Now, that is an open seat, so whoever wins is going to be the brand new one right there.
Sure.
So you got Michael Cassidy, the Republican, Keith Jackson, the Democrat, and Trent Rickles, the independent there in House District 45. So no matter what happens in that one today, you're going to have a new representative because that 45 district is...
That's a weird one.
When Mr. Cassidy was here yesterday, it was just like...
left at that stop sign, and then you follow that to the poll.
I'll give Michael credit for this. He knew the lines very, very well.
He knew exactly where it was.
He knew exactly where it was, but my mind was just blown of how confusing 45 really was.
Well, he's a guy who does so much research, and he's kind of impressive. We've had him on a few times, obviously, when he was running for U.S. representative as well for the Michael Guest seat. But it's. Well, we wish him the best. We wish them all the best. But certainly he had done a lot of research to know exactly where it was, where his constituents were, and who they were, and who the makeup was. I mean, he really kind of dialed it down. It was good.
Absolutely. So we'll get into more of the local races coming up here in Lauderdale County. Of course, we did touch on very briefly when J.J. Anders gave us a shout on the phone a minute ago that District 1 Supervisor, we briefly went over that one. We'll go over the rest of the county races here across East Mississippi. Might touch a little bit on Clark County and Newton County as well. Some big races in some adjoining counties as well. And also, it is a big day in other states across the nation as well.
Kentucky.
And Kentucky is going to be really highlighted today. Virginia is going to be very much highlighted today as folks in the Commonwealth of Virginia will go to the polls today. And that's a big day for them today because they're trying to flip the Senate red today. The House is barely in a majority Republican. And, of course, Glenn Youngkin is not on the ballot today, but he is really pushing to try to get Republican across the board there in Virginia. So big day for the Commonwealth. So.
And how do you feel about that? I mean, just as a as the concept of shift in power between Republicans and Democrats. I mean, and how do you feel about it for like the next year as well, the next cycle, the federal cycle coming up?
It's going to be interesting. What do they always say? It's the bellwether, as they always say. I think the reason these races obviously are getting so much highlight, well, with Glenn Youngkin alone being a Republican governor in such, I would say, purple state right now. If that happens today, that is a big, big telltale sign that there may be a shift. I think the Kentucky governor's race is going to be a very interesting one as well. That is going to be super, super thin. And there's a couple of other races out there, but it's going to be very interesting to see how it plays out tonight. Yeah. So, but I don't think anything will be settled tonight. In those races, be pretty close.
But you know, and I think that we had talked about it off air a little bit. You know, if the Republicans have a very strong showing and win both those races, the Kentucky gubernatorial one and the Senate race in Virginia, then what does that do to the Democrats? It kind of backs them in a corner. And how desperate do they then get? And how much money does Soros pump into it, and various other donors as well? And so what does that do for the federal election cycle next year? And, you know, so is that something that we want, or do we want the Republicans to maybe take a little bit of a loss? Well, I don't know if it'd be a loss or maybe an expected loss, you know, that things stay the same. And do the Republicans then rally and then say, okay, we really have to focus and regroup and focus our attentions on getting those seats, but also winning the presidency? So I don't know. It'll be an interesting dynamic how it plays out.
Absolutely. We're going to take a break here on Mornings of Meridian here on Election Day 2023. Folks, get out and vote. Polls are open today until 7, and we'll continue our, Election Day coverage.
That's right. Nonstop.
Absolutely.
Well,
we'll take a break, and we'll be back after a Fox News break.
got over 90 years combined experience among that hardworking, dedicated staff. So you know that they know what they're doing. And of course, you know, it used to be, you know, you got a dent, and you just fill it and they paint it and you're good. But there's so many electronics and different things that you have to know about. And these guys are experts in all of those sensors and electronics and stuff that I don't even know what it is. But they do, because they're professionals. No job is too small or too large for them. And as you said, like new results, they will give you a free estimate, and they'll work with your insurance company, because I certainly don't want to work with my insurance company.
Ugh.
Not at all. All of their work has a lifetime warranty. Go see them. They're conveniently located right next to Johnson Dodge on Highway 39 North, open 8 to 5, Monday through Friday. And their number is easy to remember, but you might want to write it down anyway, because when you need them, you really need them. The number 601-482-PAINT. See how that works?
Yeah, easy.
Paint.
Keep it easy.
Keep it easy. 601-482-PAINT. Premier Paint and Body, right next to Johnson Dodge on Highway 39 North.
Well, I will tell you this, Charles. One of the great jewels in our community is the Arts and Letters series out of Meridian Community College. Of course, Dr. Hubner and everybody out at MCC can't say enough about what they do with this program. Susie Johnson, everybody out at MCC. And The Wiz is going to be coming to the Arts and Letters series again real soon. We've got the director this morning on the program. So
yeah.
We got Tia Holland this morning. And, well, you are directing The Wiz, right?
I am.
Tell us a little bit about The Wiz for folks that are not awfully familiar with it. What can we expect on stage with the Arts and Letters?
It's an adaptation of The Wizard of Oz, and it's taken and just set in the 70s, and it was written for an all-black cast, and that's the way we're going about with it. Is very 70s, funky.
Polyester.
Yes,
a lot of polyester.
A lot of polyester, a lot of glitz and glamour, a lot of glitter. You're gonna see a lot of glitter on stage. It's amazing. The story, a lot of people think it's just, oh, this is a little girl going through a magical place and going back home, but it's deeper than that. She's finding herself. She's becoming more of the young lady she should be. Self-esteem is growing. A, B, and C, there will be so much more, and it will be on stage at MCC.
Fantastic. Well, Tia, tell us a little bit about yourself. I mean, we were getting to know you a little bit before we got you on the air, but you've had a nice little magical run yourself. Very impressive start to your, I guess you'd say, film and directing career.
Yes, I actually went to school for acting. I have a BFA in acting. I went to a performing arts college in Los Angeles. It's called AMDA, and that's where I started directing my last semester in college. My first professional gig was not acting, it was directing.
Wow.
Did not expect that at all. It was amazing. The opportunity came out of nowhere. My college professor, she reached out to me. She has a production company, a theater company in Santa Monica, California. And she reached out to me to be one of the directors. Out of the 5 women, I was the youngest one.
Wow.
It was really cool. So that was my first professional gig. And I went to school for acting.
I was going to say, I mean, the way you described that, it's like directing. That really surprised you, though, because you go to school for acting, and now you're on the other side of the camera. So, but do you like the other side of the camera?
Oh, I love it. Yeah. I absolutely love it. It's crazy how God works, because I went in for one thing and came out with multiple. I know how to work in front of the camera, behind the camera. I know how to set up the camera. I can help with lights, the gaffer, backstage, on stage, like all around, and it's been a blessing.
Oh, that's awesome.
And here's the thing is, where are you from?
Here, Meridian, Mississippi.
Right on.
Born and raised.
Born and raised. There you go. So where'd you go to high school?
MHS.
Meridian High.
That's right.
Here we go. So fantastic.
That's where I
So
started theater.
so the dates and times for The Wiz out at Meridian Community College.
November 17th at 7 p.m.
Wow, so
November.
that's less than 2 weeks away.
It is next week. November 17th at 7, November 18th at 7 p.m., and November 19th at 3 p.m., a matinee show.
Okay.
Yeah, because I know MCC usually traditionally does that matinee show on the weekend. So fantastic. So,
Yeah.
so who all's going to be in this production? I know predominantly students like to get involved in this, and I'm assuming that's the route we're going to go here with The Wiz.
Yeah, so we do have students that are at MCC, but we also have the community, people from the community that have normal jobs and lives, and they just come, and they are great. We have Nate Latham as Scarecrow, Mariah Miller as Dorothy. She's in high school. She's a senior in high school. We have LaQuentin Holiday as Lion.
Oh, he's so talented.
Yes, he is so talented.
I love him.
Yes. J.D. Harris as Tin Man. Who else? Lisa Brookins Mercer as Ada Pearl, and a lot of amazing more people. Aaliyah Lee as Eveline. It's her first time having a lead role, and she's Eveline. She has one of the biggest songs in the show, and she is so amazing. Billy Walker as The Wiz. He has to show out because the show is called The Wiz.
That's right.
So-
He better be good. Yeah.
Pretty important.
Yeah.
Pretty important.
And he is doing, a fantastic job. It's his first time as a lead as well.
Mhm. Well, great.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds like a great show. Now, you're a professional actor,
Yes,
and you also have a production company,
I do.
and you produce short films.
Uh-huh.
And so, what have you got going on right now? Any plans in the works that are currently being produced, or in the future, or what's going on with that?
Yes, I collaborated with a friend in Jackson. His name is Herman Johnson, and he has a production company as well. It's called Story Mode Productions, and we are currently working on. It was a short film, but now we're going to turn into a series and try to get it on a platform.
Okay.
And we
Wow.
have to finish writing it and then filming.
Okay. Based here in Mississippi.
It is in right in
Okay.
Mississippi.
Hey.
We filmed
Keep it
in
local.
Jackson, the first one.
Oh, that's awesome.
So we'll probably be a little here in Meridian and back in Jackson, so back and forth.
Great.
Nice.
Okay.
A little Meridian mixed in. I
Yeah,
like it.
I would love that.
Little
Yeah.
nod to the hometown. I like
Of
it.
course.
Yes.
So we're
So-
going to be Hollywood, East Mississippi.
Yeah, Hollywood.
Yes. Look,
Something like that.
My friend and I, Randy, I don't know if you know him, Randy Farino. He has a production company here as well. And we put on shows here called Hollywood and Meridian. So I might come and talk to y'all again.
Yeah.
Awesome,
Might
yeah.
do that,
Well, I know
yeah.
we had the Film Fest with the Temple Theater, and and that's a great. It's kind of just still getting started. I mean, but it grows every year, and so it's really an exciting thing to have in town. So
Thomas
the more we
Burton.
can grow it, yeah. Thomas Burton's a fantastic guy, so
very
does a great job with it. But
Mm-hmm.
so there is a little bit of a thriving kind of or starting of a film industry here. That's wonderful.
It's true. It was very much so nothing at first when I was in high school. Out of my class, I was the only person to go to college for performing arts.
Wow.
And coming back each year is growing, and it makes my heart smile.
Yeah.
It makes me
Great.
so happy.
Well, it seems like the talent level here locally, and I know you can probably speak to this, I mean, is growing exponentially from what we were probably, what 10, 15 years ago. I mean, a lot of these students are really getting involved in the arts, and I think it's so important to keep getting involved in the arts and keep that as a part of our schools.
Yes. The arts is a great outlet and also a tool to learn.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing.
Well, and it's entertaining.
Yes,
And,
it's also
you know,
entertaining.
my parents moved here and from the villages, and I've talked about that, and they've kind of lived a lot of different places all over the world, but they love Meridian Little Theater. It's right next to where they stay, but the level of talent there and the job that Tiffany is doing is just astounding. I
Yes.
mean, but even on the high school level, we've been to some of those productions. My kids have been in them, and it's really impressive. I mean, it's not one of those where you're like, they're singing off key.
Yeah.
They forgot their lines.
Right?
No, I mean it's really, really good. I think on every level, and so there's a level of professionalism, even though it's an amateur production, throughout a lot of these different productions. So it's great to see.
I definitely hold my cast to a high standard.
Good.
You are going to act like a professional because some of them can be in this field right now and thrive. And that's what I want.
That's
I want
wonderful.
more people
and
to get
you
into
can
this
mentor
field.
them and
Yeah,
say, hey,
absolutely.
this is the route that you take. Go to this school in LA, or there are other schools.
Yeah,
So
there's so
it's
many
wonderful you have that
ways.
opportunity.
There's no one way to get into this industry.
Awesome.
So, yeah.
So The Wiz coming to Meridian Community College, part of the Arts and Letters series. It will start on November the 17th, which is unbelievably next week.
It is.
I know,
Wow.
right?
Like, wait a minute. I was
Sweat
like,
drop.
that's like 2 months away.
Sweat drop.
Yeah.
So you'll have multiple performances, and those dates, once again, starting November 17th will be opening night, I guess you would say, and there you have some following days of performances too.
Yes, 17th, 18th, and 19th. Only 3 performances. So catch
Fantastic.
them while you can, and tickets are going fast.
And how do we get tickets?
Tickets can be found online at on the MCC website.
Okay.
You go and find the Arts and Letters. Go there, and you will scroll down to tickets, and you'll find all of the days and things there. I can't talk right now.
Yeah,
Oh, you're doing great. Yeah.
Yeah, meridiancc.edu.
Yes.
Yeah. So go to that website and find the Arts and Letters link on the homepage and purchase your tickets. And boy, this is a great kickoff for Arts and Letters this year. So
It is. I think it's going to be lovely for our community.
fantastic. Well, you are lovely, and what you've done with your career so far is astounding. Coming from Meridian and doing what you've done so far, and we can't wait to go out and check out the Wiz starting next week, November the 17th, as a part of the Arts and Letters series. So continued success in your endeavors, and boy, so proud to have you from Meridian doing what you're doing.
Thank you so much. I received that.
There you go, folks. We're going to take a break here on Mornings in Meridian. When we return, we'll continue the show here. And your phone calls at 485-9191. Stay close. All right, welcome back into Mornings in Meridian. Appreciate Tia Hall for stopping by to see us from Meridian Community College. Of course, directing the Wiz Arts and Letters series, getting cranked up next week.
Yeah.
Out at MCC.
You say there's nothing to do, there's always something to do. Go see the
Absolutely.
Wiz, man. That's going to be a great show.
Yeah, absolutely. 3 nights. Actually, the 2 nights, and then, of course, the matinee there
Matinee, right.
on Sunday. So our
3
number here at Mornings in Meridian is 601-485-9191. We'll get back to more Election Day coverage, I guess you would say. But first, Martin Roofing. We want to thank our friends at Martin Roofing. They've got about as many signs as the Corners.
It never ends. I'd say they have more signs in the corners.
I think so.
Yeah, I'm voting for Martin Roofing, to tell you what. They've been doing roofing right for over 30 years. Locally owned and operated, of course, licensed in the state of Mississippi. Take pride in standing behind their work from start through cleanup. They go the extra mile. And an example of this, true story, my in-laws had their roof replaced by Martin Roofing. Did a fantastic job. They also replaced the doghouse roof.
That's my favorite store. I love that.
You gotta be kidding me. I mean, you know, now the in-laws, they love the dogs, so fair enough. Don't we all love our dogs? But I mean, come on. Yeah, maybe it's because that's why they replaced the roof. Rough, my roof.
Yeah.
Anyway, whatever. We're not getting into that. Give Doug Martin Jr. or Doug Martin Sr. a call, 601-485-5920. They will give you a free estimate and inspect your roof for damage. Call them today. They're a member of the Better Business Bureau.
Yeah, I was just thinking a minute ago about the election today, and there's going to be one person that is going to be so happy here in Lauderdale County when this whole thing is done, and that is our good friend Donna Jill Johnson.
Oh, my goodness. You know it.
Her staff, they have been through the ringer this
Take
year.
a month off.
You had a primary, a runoff, and 2 races, and then you had the school bond election, and now you got this.
Well, guess what she's got to do now after the election? Move.
Got to move, right?
That's just terrific.
Hey, congratulations to Lauderdale County. They had the big ribbon cutting yesterday for the complex, and building just looks marvelous. But yeah, Donna Jill is going to be so happy when this election is done.
Yeah, she went through the ringer, that's for sure.
Absolutely. We'll get back to more of the local races coming up shortly, but I want to get back to the national landscape real quick before we get to the top of the hour in Fox News. Of course, we talked about Virginia earlier. Before our bottom of the hour news there at 7:30. Glenn Youngkin, the governor there, is not on the ballot today, but there is a big race, or races, I would say, in the Senate and in the House there in Virginia. Of course, the House is currently Republican majority, but just by the slimmest of margins, kind of like the national landscape is in D.C. But the Senate is Democrat, and there is a big swing, and actually they're showing it on Fox News right now. The General Assembly has 22 Democrats and 18 Republicans right now, so they're trying to push that into Republican hands. The majority would be 21 there in Virginia. And on the House end of things, I want to say they have a majority by just a handful of seats, 2, 3 at most. Sure. So the big push right now in Virginia is to get the Senate Republican. You have a sitting governor there who's a Republican. So if this whole thing goes Republican across the board, I think it's a little early to say that Virginia's a red state until we get to the next presidential cycle, but it's trending in that direction.
Sure. It's redder than blue.
Yeah.
Exactly. That makes sense. Redder than blue.
So,
right.
but yeah, so Youngkin has been pushing hard, obviously, on the campaign trail to try to get both the Assembly and the House to go red. So we'll see if that goes successful. That's a big story today on the national landscape, kind of that bellwether, as we talked about earlier. You always hear the media talk about that and these political experts. The race in Kentucky for governor. That is going to be razor thin right there. You have a Democratic governor, Republican challenger, and that is going to be a very interesting race by the end of the night.
And it's a red state, but with a blue governor. And, you know, I think the governor is actually doing a fairly good job, and he can run on his record. But it's the perception of what the Democrats are doing as far as all of these anti-Israel protests and all of the, you know, gender fluidity arguments and everything else that's kind of part of the Democratic agenda does not resonate well with, I think, Kentuckians or any state below the Mason-Dixon line, or many other states for that matter in the Midwest and other places. So that may be the point of contention and the point that kind of swings it towards the Republican side.
Yeah, Andy Beshear, the Democrat, of course, a very impressive challenger. If you've never heard Daniel Cameron speak, he is a very impressive guy, and I think he's got a solid chance flipping that seat over to Republican tonight. So I think those two states, I mean, Pennsylvania, Ohio, there's some big races up there, along with New Jersey. So from the national political landscape, we're a year away from the presidential cycle, but this will kind of give us a small tail of the way some states are kind of feeling.
And you wonder if it also will alter the landscape of the presidential race. Well, if it swings solidly into the Republican camp, do they then reassess Biden's chances next year?
Absolutely.
And which somebody ought to reassess that anyway. But not his chances, but his confidence level.
Let's go back to the phone line at 485-9191. Hey, caller, good morning.
Morning, Rob. Morning, Charles. How y'all doing this morning?
Morning.
Tuesday and happy November 7th.
Right.
Nick Lisi on the line, of course, Republican for District 1 Justice Court Judge. Nick, we've made it to the finish line.
Thank the good Lord. And I know there's one person that's happier than me, and that is my wife.
There we go.
It's glad it's over. One way or the other.
Nick, this has been a very interesting journey in this race for you. Of course, a very crowded Republican field back in August, and we all thought it was going to be a runoff, but you won that thing pretty handily, and now you're in the general today, and just hours away from kind of knowing how this thing is going to roll.
Look, that it was definitely a very crowded race, and I was so confident I was going to win it without a runoff. I still think I've got Vote Nick Lisi August 29th brochures in the back of my truck because I was planning on hitting the ground running the next day. And but we worked, and I'm glad that the people heard and saw our work, and we're glad that we get a chance to do this. I love Lauderdale County, and I want to be part of the change of moving it in the right direction.
Fantastic. So, well, Nick, you know how we feel about you here at Mornings in Meridian. Appreciate you always being acceptable of coming on the program, and wish you all the best here on Election Day. And we've been encouraging folks all morning to get out and vote.
Yes, sir. And thank you guys for having these stations and doing all this, because without y'all, we couldn't get to the masses at all.
Fantastic. Nick, appreciate you out there, my friend.
Thanks, Nick.
Thank you, guys. Y'all have a good day.
You too. All right, Nick Lisi, of course, running for Justice Court District 1. And that was one of the big stories from earlier this year with the primary. We had all those District 1 candidates roll through here, very crowded field, and that was probably one of the bigger surprises. A lot of folks thought that was going to go to runoff with that many folks, but Nick won that thing hands down, and had a pretty good run there. Now going up against his opponent today, the Democrat. Of course, this is an open seat, by the way. Of course, Jesse Coach Hill, the Democrat. So
we had him on the other day. Yeah,
absolutely. We've had both those candidates on. So, but so that is another local race of interest here today.
And just talking to Nick and kind of going back to those elections where there was a very crowded field.
Sure.
I admire all the candidates, because I think that there's been a couple races locally where there's been a little bit of, not quite mudslinging, but certainly some accusations. But for the most part, these guys just ran on their own merits.
Yeah.
Don't bring the other guy down. Just tell us what you can do. And I think they, for the most part, all stayed true to that. And I admire that and respect it. And I appreciate everybody who ran, even if they didn't, qualify for this part of the election. But, hats off to you. You putting your name out there, and our admiration and thanks.
All right, folks, we're going to join Fox News right now. We'll be back in just minutes. Stay close. Well, welcome back into Mornings in Meridian here on this Election Day Tuesday, November the 7th. 601-485-9191 is our number as we kick off the second hour of the two best hours of local live talk radio here in East Mississippi and West Alabama. Of course, online at WALTmeridian.com. And, of course, we're on Facebook Live as well, WALT Talk Radio. And Rob, been with you this morning along with Charles Frazier. Good morning to you, sir.
Good morning.
Here on Election Day Tuesday. Of course, we'll get into more of the local races coming up. We kind of focused a little bit on the national and statewide stuff going on today. But before we do that, we got a caller on the line. We'll get to that in a moment. But let's thank our good friends, the Cars, down at Trucker Supply.
You ought to change the name to Truckers, if you ask me.
There you go.
You know what? You know how many days it is Christmas?
Ooh, don't remind me.
I can tell you, 47 days. Oh, man, it's coming, and it's coming fast. Well, the place to go, one-stop shop for all your tools and other things as well, is Trucker Supply. 519 Highway 19 South. Of course, they've got the Knipex tools like channel locks on steroids. They'll pump you up. And a full room of Milwaukee tools. Everything Milwaukee makes, and it's made right here in the state of Mississippi. So you are shopping local when you're buying the Milwaukee tools. Yeti. You like Yeti?
Oh, I love it.
Doesn't like Yeti.
I love my Yeti
Keeps
mug.
my coffee hot for hours. They've got Yeti mugs, coolers, lunch boxes, even Yeti dog dishes. Got to get the pooch something for Christmas, too. Go see them. Trucker Supply, 519 Highway 19 South. Give them a call, 601-693-2316. Of course, they've got a great website as well, truckersupply.com.
All right, phone lines are lighting up. I know we got a second line ringing. Just hang on because we're going to go to line one right now. Hey, caller, good morning.
Mega morning, true American patriots.
Has happy election day.
That's exactly correct. It's finally here.
Finally.
You know,
like
I
Christmas.
guess the cycle will start tomorrow for the next election.
It started about a year ago. But
Has all I know is we're going to have a coroner later on tonight.
Right.
Yeah.
Not a coronary.
Finally.
Not a
I'm the
coroner.
only person in Lauderdale County that didn't run for coroner.
Exactly.
He be dead.
He be dead. Yeah, he be dead.
He be dead. But now I want to ask everybody to get out and vote. And a lot of people think, well, my vote doesn't count and I'm apathetic. Look at what happened on the school bond issue on the CTE debacle.
Oof.
Look at the power of the vote. Only free people have a right to vote. We take for granted stuff that people would literally die for. And have died for in this country. And we need to put more priority on that. But also, I hope there's a big turnout on Veterans Day Saturday.
Yep.
I like to go down there, and that Memorial Day is about two big functions that I like to go to and remember the people that kept us free and are keeping us free today. But this deal in the Middle East, I cannot understand the U.S. going over there and basically pressuring Israel into a ceasefire or a humanitarian pause or whatever. Hamas is using these people as human shields. If you give them any time at all, they'll escape and regroup and come back again, retaliate again. Netanyahu needs to send a signal. Hey, look, man, we're going this alone if we have to, but we're not going to be pressured into our tactics to destroy the enemy. Humanitarian aid. Humanitarian is an abstraction of the word human. These people are not human. They need to be annihilated. And if it's not done there, it'll be done here at some point. You'll see an uptick in attacks here and around the world. And the arch nemesis of anything that is decent is Iran. And John McCain, I wasn't a big John McCain fan, but I did like his deal, bomb Iran. I did. And if we'd have done that back then, probably things would be different today. Give your enemy no quarter. Extend to him no mercy and expect none in return. Roger that.
There we go. So Israel, of course, still very much in the news, even here on Election Day, obviously. So, but of course, the protesting continues. A lot of these college campuses as well. And I think the Senate was Judiciary Committee. One of the committees is going to have some hearings on that either today or tomorrow.
Well, and I think everybody has the right to protest and support whichever side you want, but you do not have the right to, have this hate speech. Well, you do actually have the right, but I think we should eliminate that, especially on a college campus. They have control of those students. You're showing signs with swastikas and things of that nature. Sorry, you're expelled. We don't want your money, and we're not returning your tuition either. And that's really the ugly part of it. But, we talked about it yesterday, and I think that Haz is right on a lot of levels, but you also have to play the long game and what's going to happen in 10 years and how much more will Israel be hated and despised and be wanted to remove from the map after all of this. Down the road, are the Saudis going to join in on that battle? Or is every Arab country then going to kind of join in? And I think that Israel has to be cognizant of that because they also have to play the we're going to be here forever, roadmap and what's going to happen. How do we ensure our survival not only for this year by eliminating Hamas, but also by not creating more problems down the road? And it's such a fine line. And I don't know how do you navigate that? It's really a challenge for them.
601-485-9191. It's Mornings in Meridian, about 16 minutes into the 8 o'clock hour. Roger is off today.
Who?
Yeah, Roger's off today. So you got Rob and Charles in with you this morning. Let's go back to the phone line. Hey, caller, good morning.
Good morning. Can I get a little announcement on, please?
Mr. Algie, anything for you?
I appreciate that. Coming up this Friday at 9:30, we're going to honor all our military personnel out here Southeast. It's just a great day for us to get these veterans and all the military people out here and honor them and introduce them to the students and serve them with nice lunch. And that's coming up this Friday at 9:30. So I encourage everyone to turn out and be a part of the program.
Fantastic. That's 9:30 this Friday out there at the gym at Southeast Lauderdale.
That's correct.
Fantastic.
Honor those vets. Fantastic.
Thank you for letting me get on.
Absolutely.
Right,
thank you, sir.
Anytime.
So, Mr. Algie Davis, of course, the Southeast program, I think, has really set the bar for a lot of our veterans programs. That'll be Friday at 9:30 out at the Southeast Lauderdale Gym. And a lot of Veterans Day programs are happening this week. I know MCC's got one on Thursday at 11. Of course, the one at Southeast there Friday. And, of course, the Doughboy Monument in downtown Meridian on Saturday at 10:30. And, of course, the Veterans Memorial Park is going to have one Friday as well. So a lot of things going on this week, and rightfully so.
And 11 o'clock, I guess, is the time at the Doughboy, but they want everyone to gather at 10:30, prayer at 11, and that sort of thing. So
absolutely. So let's go back to the phone line here at Mornings in Meridian. Hey, caller, good morning.
Good morning. How y'all doing?
We're doing good, sir.
You get two of us in a row there.
Get two of us in a row. I love it.
Myself.
There we go.
Has hit on a couple of things there about the election, and let's look at the sheriff's election in Lauderdale County. If more people had turned out to vote, it would definitely had been a different leader. And I do believe, and I tell the Demon Rat Party of the United States government, y'all are behind Hamas and attacking Israel. Why are they so hell-bent on giving money to Ukraine and giving money and humanitarian aid to the Palestinians over there and wanting Israel to stop bombing?
Yeah.
Think about all that.
There you go. So it's hard to believe with all this going on today. Marks a year away from the next presidential cycle. So, but it's going to be interesting.
And they are doing everything under the sun from the Demon Rat Party, including George Soros's pocketbook, to keep Trump from being able to run for president again.
And Mr. Soros is spending a lot of money here in Mississippi too. So
yes, he is.
Lots being funneled in here.
But don't hold it against us that are of German ancestry. He is of the Hitler Germans.
But what are we wagging the dog about? What? Why are we wagging the dog? What are we wagging it about by having Hamas attack Israel? And if you'll go back and study about it, Rob, only Democratic presidents have ever tried to get Ukraine part of the NATO. You never find that a Republican president tried to get Ukraine part of the NATO. There's something to that.
Interesting.
Go back and watch the movie Sound of Freedom if you have not watched it, and that'll tell you all you need to know about our demon rat government.
Yeah. Well, all right, my friend. Well, I'm pretty sure you'll be busy out there Friday with Coach Davis, right?
Oh yeah, sure I will, because he don't like me, so he makes me stand out in the park.
Makes you stand out in the parking lot. I love it.
Y'all come see us.
All right, my friend. Appreciate you.
Have a good day. God bless.
Thank you.
Thank you. You too.
601-485-9191. Of course, the big program coming up Friday out at Southeast Lauderdale. Before we get to the sample ballot, I want to go over the local races here in the county. We may touch on some outside the county, like Newton and Clark County. Let's thank our friends. Who we got next on the advertising list there?
Purvis Business Machines.
Purvis!
That's right. Jerry and Betty Purvis. Been doing it since 1979. That is 44 years of selling the finest document management systems available. Lease return color copiers, you can save up to 85% on those. Can't save up to 85% on anything these days except the lease return color copiers at Purvis Business Machines. They've got a wonderful showroom at 4505 Highway 39 North. Of course, you can check them out online, gopurvis.com. And the big thing about them is they offer complete networking services and document management solutions. So they're going to connect everything to that printer, copier, scanner, and so that you don't even have to worry about that. Is it connected? No. I mean, you just call them and they set it up. And, of course, their motto, I love it, service, not excuses. They're not going to give you an excuse. Since 1979. 601-693-COPY, Purvis Business Machines.
All right, as we go through the Lauderdale County sample ballot here, we already went over the state races this morning. Of course, the Public Service Commissioner, Transportation Commissioner on the ballot here. District Attorney is unopposed here in the county. All of the Senate seats are unopposed, which includes Jeff Tate, Rod Hickman, and Tyler McCall. And the District 45 race, we touched on that briefly during the first hour of the program. Now, this is an open seat and a very, I guess, interesting is a good way of putting it. District 45 lines that have been drawn here. Michael Cassidy, the Republican, Keith Jackson, the Democrat, and Trent Rickles, the Independent. So we'll have a new representative there in 45, no matter how that slices and dices tonight. House 81 unopposed with Steve Horn. 82 unopposed with Charles Young Jr., Billy Adam Calvert unopposed in 83, Chancery Clerk unopposed, Donna Gills doing something right. She's unopposed again.
You think? Wow. Yeah.
The coroner's race.
Not unopposed.
Not unopposed, and a lot of folks wanted this job, and, well, we're down to the final two. So,
and then there were two.
You've got the Democrat Rita Jack and the Republican Stella McMahon. And this is going to be, I think it's going to be a little more interesting than people think. I think Rita Jack may have been picking up a little bit of steam down the stretch here. And
she had a lot of name recognition. She's obviously been a public servant for a number of years. So we'll see. We'll see how it plays out. You know, that's why we have these elections.
Absolutely. So, but the coroner's race will, as someone messaged me a while ago, it will die today.
Wow. I suppose it will.
There you go.
Is the coroner going to call it? That race is dead. Ain't breathing no more.
It was dead. Sheriff of Lauderdale County. Of course, we had one of the candidates on yesterday, the Republican Ward Calhoun against the Democrat Gerald Johnson. That'll be on the ballot today here in the county. Tax assessor and tax collector are both unopposed. We did mention the District 1 supervisor's race. Justin J.J. Anders, the Republican, against Tyrone Johnson, the Democrat. That will be a new supervisor no matter what, because that is the seat from Jonathan Wells. Of course, he initially ran for coroner, but, of course, did not make it to the general election. So you'll have a brand-new supervisor in District 1. This is a race... Interesting. District 2 supervisor. The Republican incumbent Wayman Newell against the Democrat Craig Houston. We've had both these guys on the program. Craig Houston's gave it a couple of runs here before, has gotten closer each time. this is going to be a tight one here tonight in District 2, I think, when the first numbers start coming in.
Mm-hmm.
So, but we'll see how that rolls out. Josh Todd unopposed in District 3. Same for Joe Norwood in District 4. District 5 supervisor, Kyle Rutledge, the Republican incumbent, against John W. Temple, the Democrat. In a lot of election commissioner job. Well, we got one election commissioner seat that's up for grabs. We got Brenda Faye Harris and Consuela Rue there in District 2 for election commissioner. Check your voter registration card. Of course, we mentioned Justice Court District 1 judge. We had Nick Lisi check in a few moments ago, Republican, against Jesse Coach Hill Jr., the Democrat. Justice Court Judge District 2, you got Andre Harris Sr., the Democrat, against the independent Loretta Lolo Allen Bennett. And the Justice Court, other seats for Justice Court Judge are unopposed, and then constable seats from District 1 to District 4, all unopposed as well. So those are the county races. So obviously, in my opinion, the big one, obviously, everybody's going to be watching is coroner tonight.
Mm-hmm.
I think District 2 supervisor is going to be a very intriguing race. I think those are my two big ones to watch tonight.
As far as locally goes?
As far as locally goes. I think the rest of them, just to be honest with you, I think we're going to have some early numbers that'll declare winners very early in the night, I would think.
What do you think about Tate and the gubernatorial one? Tate and Brandon.
I think Reeves will win.
Let's go, Brandon.
What? I think Reeves will end up winning. It'll be a slim margin. I don't think it's going to go to any kind of runoff.
Right.
I don't think it's going to go that route. So.
Sure.
But it's gonna be interesting to watch the returns come in. So
yeah, no, and I agree with you on that. So I think that Tate will win and just win outright, but. By how much will be the question. Of course, it really doesn't matter how much, as long as he wins.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, and the rest of the statewide races, no disrespect to any of the candidates on the statewide level. I think outside of governor, everything else is pretty much a done deal, I would think, going into returns tonight after 7 o'clock. I think we'll see a lot of early declared winners in a lot of these other statewide races.
Especially in the unopposed ones.
Shocker. Yeah, shocker. Well, I mean,
you don't say.
Well, that's like Delbert Hoseman. I mean, a lot of these are going to be pretty easy to call pretty early in the night.
White.
Yeah, Shad White, who's done a great job as state auditor. But yeah, a lot of these are going to be very early, declaring of winners tonight,
right.
I would say.
Pretty much as soon as they start declaring, they're going to.
Absolutely. But check. I mean, those are my two tonight to watch very closely. Is going to be coroner between Stella McMahon and Rita Jack, and then, of course, the District 2 supervisors race. I mean, there's always one other race that's somewhat interesting. I think District 2 is both candidates have ran a pretty good campaign, have been hitting the pavement pretty hard, been on the air with us. And like I said, Craig Houston has ran several times before, but it's like he said here in the program, he's kind of narrowed that gap a little bit. And, the diversity of District 2 has changed a good bit. So could that maybe swing some more votes into Craig Houston's corner? So we'll kind of wait and see. But it all depends. What do we always say? Voter turnout. So
any surprises? Are you predicting anything that is kind of going against the common thought?
Locally, no.
Okay.
Statewide, it just goes to the governor's mansion. I mean,
how about nationally?
Nationally, I would be very surprised if Virginia goes completely red. If it goes completely red, that'll be a little bit of a shock to me, simply because we all kind of I wouldn't say we all bought into it. A lot of people started thinking red wave.
Yeah.
It was last cycle. Yeah, it was last cycle. Everybody was like, oh, this big red wave is coming, and it was more like just a faucet drip.
Yep.
And so you're cautiously optimistic there in Virginia. I think Kentucky's going to switch governors tonight.
Okay.
I think that's really going to happen tonight. Of course, you heard on Fox News the abortion issue is going to be on the ballot in Ohio today. That's going to be a pretty big deal to kind of see where that issue is trending in a state like that that has been predominantly red the past several cycles, especially with Trump winning Ohio the last two times like he has. So that's one that's not getting a whole lot of attention because of these governor races, but that is a big abortion vote today in Ohio as far as the state constitution goes, the way they would do the language. So, a lot of big things out there. A lot of big things.
Interesting.
So.
We'll be watching the news.
Absolutely. 601-485-9191 is our number here on Mornings in Meridian. Real quick, before we get to our Fox News break, who we need to thank next on our advertisement list?
John Dufour and Battery One Source.
Hey!
That's right. If you need anything for batteries or even golf cart service and repair or cell phone service and repair, the one place to go is Battery One Source. 2618 North Frontage Road, in between exit 152 and 153. Open 8 to 4:30 Monday through Friday. You can give them a call, 601-693-1500. And they, as I said, have batteries for every need and description. Watches, remotes, cell phones, even laptop computers.
Oh.
Laptop computer doesn't have battery. It's a desktop.
Bingo.
Make it a laptop once again. Go see John Dufour, Battery One Source.
All right, we're going to take a break for Fox News. Also, Your Money Now and more your phone calls at 485-9191. We'll also tell you how you can get your hands on some football tickets as well. So stay close to Mornings in Meridian. We'll be back.
jeans that fit just right.
All right, welcome back to Mornings at Meridian, 8:35. Our number, 485-9191 here on Election Day. As polls are open, if you want to give us a report of how your precinct's looking, I know a lot of folks like to get out and do the early voting this morning. Don't vote at the schools.
Oh, what?
Don't vote at the schools.
Hold on. I'm so confused.
Oh, absolutely. So as that joke continues. But,
it'll never end.
Oh, it will never end.
You can vote for the coroner at the schools.
Real quick, in Clark County, just a handful of races. Of course, they have a lot of supervisor races that have some contention. District 2 in Clark County, District 3 in Clark County, also District 5. There will be a new sheriff today, elected in Clark County. Of course, Todd Kemp, longtime sheriff there in Clark County, retiring, and Anthony Chancellor, the Republican. He's got 3 independent opponents, and, of course, a handful of races over in Newton County as well. District 1, 3, 4, and 5 all have contenders in those supervisor races over in Newton County. A lot of the other Newton County races are unopposed. County Constable is also unopposed in District 1 and 2. So not a lot going on in those adjoining counties, but encourage those folks in our neighboring counties to get out and vote today. So there's a handful of races. Yeah, new sheriff here in Lauderdale County and new sheriff in Clark County.
There's a new sheriff in town.
New sheriff in town. So let's go back to the phone line. Hey, caller, thanks for holding. Good morning.
How are you?
Joe guy.
What up?
Well, I just finished voting, and there was 5 people in there, but I had no idea we had a double-sided ballot this morning.
Oh.
Yeah, there's so much on it.
Page 2.
There's a lot of people on there. And how do we have Horn brothers that are one's going to be the attorney and one's what, on the city council?
Well, no.
Supervisors?
Well, Tommy Horn is the county attorney, and that's his father, Steve, is going to be the representative there. So, yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. That just sounded strange to me. I just don't understand that. But
yeah.
wouldn't that kind of be a conflict of interest?
Well, I mean, county attorney, state representative. I mean, tomato.
Whatever, but it's okay, right?
It's legal,
they let them run, so evidently it's legal.
Well, a lot of these people are running unopposed.
I know, a lot of races unopposed. So
a lot of races are unopposed this morning, but I just wanted to check in. I got a little sticker. Wanted to let you know I voted. I was a good girl today.
Joe, what do you think about the governor's race today?
Well, I like a lot of people said, we're going to have to vote for Tate Reeves, which is, I helped him get elected because, I worked on his campaign.
Right.
And I was kind of disappointed about a few things, but I definitely don't want a Democrat to be, governor of the state. There's no way that should happen. And one more thing that really bugs me, everybody keeps pushing this, expansion of Medicare, but nobody's talking about how much it really costs to do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know that's
you're talking about closing hospitals and making it all look desperate, but the hospitals are closing because the costs are too high, and the costs are too high because people can't pay it.
Yeah, I know that's been a big part of the Presley campaign, and that really came out in the debate that they had last week as he went after Tate Reeves over that. So,
Well, to be honest, if you need help in a health way, there's Medicare, there's Medicaid, and there's a lot of insurance companies that offer discounted insurance rates for discounted health care. So you can't tell me that, somebody who needs help to get into a hospital or whatever can't get it. That just doesn't make sense to me. I don't understand what the big push is for Medicare to be expanded. I don't understand.
Kind of breaking up on us there, Joe. You still there? Oh, wait.
Taxes are going to go up. The money's got to come from somewhere.
Right. So.
Well, I think it's a political vote grab. I mean, you want health care coverage, and you're appealing to the impoverished community and saying, we're going to make sure that you have health care coverage. And so get out there and vote for Brandon Presley.
What do you mean, make sure you have health care? I thought everybody had health care. How can you not have health care when you have Medicare and Medicaid out there.
If you don't go through the process of applying for it, then you don't have it. You know, I've got a lot of people that I know, some that work for me and others that I just know that go to the hospital when they need, they go to the ER when they have the flu, and they get a bill and they just ignore it, and then I think the hospital writes it off, and they don't go through the process of applying and everything that they should because either they can't be bothered or they don't know how to navigate the system there.
Well,
which is not that complex.
No, it's not. I don't understand. That makes no sense to me. So in other words, it's easier to complain than it is to do something about it. Is that what you're telling me?
I'm telling you that there's a segment of society that don't even have bank accounts. They live in an all-cash environment. And so, actually applying for any of those government programs, that they don't do that either. So, and I think that's...
I understand.
Yeah, I'm sorry, go ahead.
That's all right. I understand about the cash thing, too, because I'm getting ready to do something different myself, so I understand. But still in all, that makes no sense about the health care because you can't talk about health care without talking about the cost, and that's the thing that they're leaving out. So that's, like I said, I have this invisible tattoo on my forehead that says I'm not as stupid as you want me to be. So it's always tingling, like in Harry Potter when something's going on.
Right. So. Is it tingling now?
Is it tingling now?
I bet it is.
Yeah.
Anytime you're in Mississippi, it tingles, right?
Well, as soon as she handed me that ballot, I didn't even turn it around. I just wanted to double check and see if I was missing anything. And on the back of the sheet, there was like 10 more names back there. I'm like, well, why didn't you tell me it's a double-sided ballot? I wouldn't have even thought about flipping over the page,
Right.
Rocket scientist.
Yeah.
Anyway, I love y'all. I'll talk to y'all later.
Bye.
Awesome. Thanks, Joe.
Bye.
Joe checking in, of course, casting her ballot this morning. So, yeah, double-sided.
Tingling is visible tattoo.
There we go.
I love it.
So, we got to flip the ballot today. There's so much on it. So,
I wasn't prepared for all that. I just wanted a one-page test. I didn't know about 2 pages.
You mean tell me we got 2 pages on this thing today?
Study for that.
So, but, getting back to the governor's race, you've heard that trend here on this station and probably out in the community too. A lot of people are like, I don't really want to vote for Tate Reeves, but I'm just going to hold my nose and do it because of the alternative. And it seems like that trend, we're hearing that a lot. It's like, well, it's better than voting on the other side. So.
Well, and, that trend has been, it follows kind of the federal cycle of I'm not voting for, I'm voting against. How many people voted for Biden, for goodness sake? I mean, because Biden's such a dynamic candidate. It's like I'm voting against Trump. And so the anti-vote sentiment has been prevailing, I think, for the last few years.
Absolutely.
And so we're going to see it again, that, I'm not a big for Tate, but I don't want that one. So I'm going to vote this way, not that.
Seems like Fox News, if you noticed every update they've had this morning, the second cousin of Elvis Presley. They put that in there all morning.
Well, I mean, you got a guy named Presley from Mississippi. It's like, hey, how cool is that?
Kind of a neat
Elvis's
deal.
cousin. That's, it's kind of neat. Is he going to sing?
Are they going to have peanut butter and nanner sandwiches at the inauguration?
I'm going to eat some of them.
So.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, I think it's an attention-grabbing headline, that it's Presley's cousin. So, anyway.
But
has no bearing on his
now, as far as when we'll know the governor's race, I mean, that could wear on into the night this evening.
It's going to wear on me.
Yeah. The local stuff, I think, will pretty much be done with because traditionally with returns in Lauderdale County, you have the one precinct that's right there at the courthouse.
Sure.
And I think you'll start to see early returns probably around 7:30, maybe 7:45. And, of course, you have a lot of these candidates who go to the precincts because they post the numbers on the wall there at the precincts, and they get a lot of the numbers very early on. So you might see some maybe earlier than 7:30 because, like with District 1, so to speak, I mean, it's a handful of precincts. You can get those numbers, the poll watchers and stuff like that. So a lot of the local races, I think, will be declared probably no later than 8:30 tonight. Now, as far as the statewide stuff is concerned, governor's probably going to wear on into the night, I would think. So may not know a winner tonight. Could be wrong on that. I mean, we'll just kind of see how.
Unless it's an overwhelming, vote for Tate, and you think, okay, he's at 65 at this point with 60% counted, and then you can probably declare. But yeah, you're right. And until they count them all, then I don't think it will be. It'll be that tight.
Well, and two, I mean, we talked about this earlier this morning, the absentee vote. We talked about that earlier. The numbers I got right here was as of yesterday, there had been just over 56,400 absentee ballots that were completed and returned to local circuit clerk's offices around the state of Mississippi. And that's compared to a little over 48,000 in the last governor's race in 2019.
And how do they trend, Republican or Democrat? Or is it pretty good? It's kind of a slice of what the state does.
That's a heck of a question from a statewide level. You would think, well, national level, we know, with absentee and early voting, with mail-in balloting,
chads, the whole bit,
that kind of trends,
finding the ballot
trends
boxes.
more Democrat. But
like the boxes they find at ballots tend to go.
Too. But as far as the statewide goes, I mean, a mixture. I don't know. That's a heck of a question.
I would say it's an indicative slice of how the general election works as well, as far as those going to the polls. But you never know. It may be, biased one way or the other.
Yeah, but more than 62,000 absentee ballots have been requested for this election.
It's a lot.
So that is a big, big number right there, folks.
That's requested, not returned.
Exactly.
But they won't know returned because postmark from today, which means with the current mailing system, we may know in December.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the mailed absentee ballots.
Kidding, all you postal workers out there.
The mailed absentee ballots will be counted as long as they are postmarked by Election Day and returned through the mail to the local circuit clerk's office by November the 15th. So today being the 7th.
They have to be postmarked and also returned by the 15th. Okay.
Yeah. So so the mail folks have a little over a week to be sure that's in the hands of Donna Jill and folks like that. So, but it'll be
new courthouse, old courthouse. Where are they going?
Well, I can always rely on my good friend Jeff Tate for keeping me on my toes here. Let's see what Mr. Tate has for me. Just under 1,200 absentees here in Lauderdale County. Absentees locally don't trend one way or another. It's a mix. I kind of figured locally would be the case on that, and I would imagine, just kind of going on a limb here, I think statewide
probably the same.
Probably the same deal there, I would think. So that gives you an idea locally, a little under 1,200 here in Lauderdale County.
Okay.
Of that 56,000 plus here in the state.
And how many were there for the last cycle? Do you remember?
It was a good chunk. I mean, I don't know if it was that large of an amount. So, but little under 1,200
for the primary. I mean,
for the primary, the one back in early August. Good question.
Okay,
so,
well,
it was still a pretty decent amount. So, but not enough to swing anything one way or another. So, it was 700 plus Republican, and of course, don't remember the Democratic numbers there, but it was 700 plus Republican on the absentee side back in the primary.
Okay,
and probably Democrat, I would say probably maybe 100. Give or take, maybe. So that's the absentee numbers here in the county going into tonight. So, but polls will be open till 7, folks. Get out and vote. And I always say this is so fitting here with Election Day today, and of course it's Veterans Day week. Remember why we go to the polls today, and
definitely
for those folks who went out there and served and gave up their lives, so we can have that freedom to go make our mark today.
Get you a sticker.
Get your sticker or your pen. They don't do the pens anymore.
I'd like both. Can I get both?
We'll be back. On the road again to the voting precinct here on Election Day. 8 minutes away from the 9 o'clock hour in some Glenn Beck. Of course, Clay and Buck coming up at 11, followed by the great Sean Hannity at 2, and then my man Joe Pags on your drive home a little bit later on at 5 here on WALT. And, of course, WALT along with Chunky River Harley-Davidson and Bonita Wine and Liquor giving you a chance to head to the Egg Bowl this year. Of course, the ball game coming up on Thanksgiving night. And if you want to get your hands on some tickets to the football game this year, all you got to do is head over to WALTmeridian.com. Click on the Egg Bowl link. It'll be staring you right in the face when you go to the website. Just click on that link, fill out a brief registration form, and you will be in the drawing for those tickets to the ball game that we will draw for coming up in just a few days. So that's WALTmeridian.com to register for some free, that's right, free football tickets for Thanksgiving night.
I think they ought to change the name of the game to the Turkey and Egg Bowl. You know what I mean? The leftover and egg bowl.
The leftovers on Egg Bowl. There you go. So, but big thanks to our friends over at Chunky River Harley-Davidson, along with Bonita Wine and Liquor, great local sponsors of our Egg Bowl ticket giveaway. That's WALTmeridian.com to register for those free tickets. It'll be the easiest thing you do all day long.
Although voting's pretty easy.
Voting's pretty easy, too.
Yeah, it may be easier just to register for those. But do both. Register for the tickets and to go vote.
Absolutely. So, got just a few minutes left here on Mornings in Meridian. I think we've gone over the ballot pretty extensively from the local aspect. You asked me the question earlier. I kind of flip it around on the other end here. Any surprises tonight you think we could see? I think I'm going to take local off the table. I don't think there'll be any shockers locally. I had my two races that could go either way. I think it'd be coroner or District 2 supervisor. But what about yourself there?
No, I agree. The same locally. I do think that probably Stella will win, but I think it's going to be a closer race than a lot of people thought.
I think so.
But I don't know about any other races that, Coach Hill may have a stronger showing. I know Nick Lisi dominated that race as far as the Republican side goes, but, Coach Hill may actually have a bit of a surprise there as far as the number of votes. I do think Nick will probably prevail just because he's done so much work in that area.
What about District 45? That's a tough race to figure out because Michael Cassidy, obviously, with the name recognition because of him running against Michael Guest, that is an interesting district because it hits all spots.
He is a hardworking man,
and he really is.
And I think that's going to be the deciding factor is that he wants it. He wants to serve, and he is motivated to do so. And he's put in a lot of legwork, and so I think that's going to be the thing that kind of pushes him over the edge. So I'd call Michael Cassidy for that one, but that you can't predict these things. That's just the gut feeling that I have. I think statewide, we talked about that. I think Tate's going to be going to prevail, but in a very tight race.
I said off air a while ago. I said about if he does win tonight outright, it'll be 52-53% is what he'll get, if that. So
Ty Pickney was on yesterday for the state Secretary of State, and he was impressive. But I think Michael Watson's probably going to prevail in that one as well. But I think that Ty Pinkney probably has a great political future ahead of him. I mean, what an impressive guy.
Yeah.
And then, I agree with you as far as Kentucky goes. I think that's going to go on the Republican side. And Virginia, who knows? That's a roll of the dice right there.
Yeah, Virginia really is a roll of the dice. I guess I'll just be shocked if it all goes Republican. If that happens tonight, that'll be the big headline tomorrow. From all of these statewide elections from the national media aspect goes. If that goes red tonight, everybody will start screaming to the heavens. We're seeing something going on nationally with the Republicans. And I don't think it's really with Republicans. It's just an indictment on Biden and the job he's done that kind of filters down to some of these other races.
I'm not going to be shocked if it goes red. I'm not going to be shocked if it stays blue.
I guess
either way, it's kind of like, okay, it went that way, But there's no way that that you or I can predict that. There may be some people who are closer to it that have a better idea.
Well, I mean, I guess the reason I say that I'll be shocked is simply because we go back a year ago to the so-called red wave that was coming with the House and Senate, and of course that did not happen. So you always have to give with going ahead. Don't look at these poll numbers because, folks, read the fine print at the bottom of these polls. They only get a sliver of the population.
And I do feel like the overwhelming sense sentiment in the country right now is against the kind of the democratic, the progressive policies of whether that's gender fluidity and kind of women in sports, the Palestinian support and the anti-Israel sentiment, and the vitriol, the hate that's being directed towards not only the Israelis but also Jewish people in this country. And I think that we're going to see a bit of a knee-jerk reaction to that, so it may swing more Republican than a lot of people anticipate.
Yeah, absolutely. So, but that's how a lot of these races, I mean, looking at the local stuff, I think, and I'm a history guy, it's a historic night here in Lauderdale County. No matter how this thing shakes out, we're going to have a brand new sheriff-elect after tonight. First sheriff we've had other than Billy Solly in several years, and coroner. A cobbler is not going to be coroner after this cycle is done.
Is that like 60 years?
I know.
It's a long time.
I mean, that is two big historic things that are happening in Lauderdale County tonight. So no matter how things shake out here on November the 7th, that's just a little bit of kind of turning the page a little bit. And we cannot say enough about the job that Sheriff Solly has done, and, of course, Clayton Cobbler as our coroner as well here in Lauderdale County. So, but that's just two big historical aspects as well.
And
so.
As far as history goes, we're going to be talking about this coroner race for the next 30, 40 years.
I know. I mean, really.
I won't be alive that long, but, anyway.
Y'all see how many people ran for that coroner back in 2023? It's amazing.
2023 coroner. Oh, they're bringing that up again.
What are we going to do whenever we have the best of 2023, our big stories of the year? What's going to be our big story?
Of course.
Coroner's going to be our big story.
Yeah, no doubt.
Absolutely. So.
Doesn't matter what happens between now and the end of the year.
Absolutely. Folks, we've enjoyed the show today with you. I hope you have a great rest of your Election Day Tuesday. Get out and vote. We really encourage you. If you are willing and able, please get out and make your mark. Polls open until 7 o'clock tonight. Of course, we'll have lots of results that we'll be talking about here on the show tomorrow. Charles, have a good rest of your day.
You too. We'll see you tomorrow.
Folks, have a good one. Glenn Beck is up next. And what do we always say? Buy local. Have a good one.